we need to talk about Bruno.
Don't talk about Bruno.
Bruno is the key to unlocking the meaning at the heart of Disney's Encanto, a visually stunning and emotionally rich story about family, tradition, and the pressures that come with trying to be perfect. If you've seen the movie, you know it's about more than catchy songs and how a miracle like the one in Encanto can start to slip through the cracks.
Why is this happening?
When you forget the most important part, love.
Open my eyes.
Hello, I'm Kevin Harris, and I help people understand themselves by helping them understand the stories that resonate with them.
I never should have brought up Bruno.
One day while working in my office, my little daughter came in and said that she had seen a show that she wanted the whole family to sit down and watch together. I doubted that any show that she enjoyed would be a show that I would enjoy, and I also doubted that she could get the whole family to sit down together and watch a show. But that night, we all sat down together and watched Encanto as a family, and I was surprised how much everyone enjoyed it. When we first hear about the miracle in Encanto, it's presented almost like a fairy tale. A candle that never goes out, a house that builds itself, and a family blessed with magical powers. But the miracle itself was born from a moment of deep trauma, the death of Abuela Alma's husband, Pedro. In that devastating moment, Alma is left with 3 babies to protect, and that's when the miracle arrives. The family name Madrigal comes from the same Latin root as the word matrix, which means womb or riverbed. It's also the cavity or mold in which anything is formed, and the metaphorical place where something is made, formed, or given birth. Alma, whose name means soul in Spanish, never fully grieved her husband's death. She didn't have time. She had a family to take care of and a community that relied on her, so she put up walls, physical and emotional ones, and poured all her energy into keeping everything perfect, at least on the outside. Casita was a physical representation of her and her growing family.
La familia Madrigal.
La familia Madrigal.
And now Bruno, one of those 3 babies. From the moment we meet him, or rather, don't meet him, we know something's off. Bruno is painted as the family's black sheep. He is blamed for everything bad that happens, from ruined weddings to dead goldfish. And at some point, he just disappears. He's slipped away into the cracks of the house, and no one talks about him anymore.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I know.
But he is still there, in the house, hidden deep within Abuela Alma's soul. Bruno's disappearance is more than just physical. He represents the family's buried issues. His gift, the ability to see the future, brings up uncomfortable truths. And instead of facing those truths, they push him and everything that he stands for away. This is a pattern we see throughout the Madrigal family. When something feels imperfect or messy, they hide it.
We say nothing. Abuela wants tonight to be perfect. Till the Guzmans leave, they did not break into Bruno's tower. The magic is not dying. The house is not breaking. Luisa's gift is not fading. No one will know. Just act normal.
And that brings us to Mirabel, another black sheep of the family.
I know you want to help, but tonight must go perfectly.
The first song of the movie is literally Mirabel trying to hide her lack of magical powers from the children in the town. She's the only one in the family without a magical gift, which makes her feel like an outsider in her own home.
So the best way for some of us to help is to step aside. Let the rest of the family do what they do best.
Everyone else seems to have these extraordinary powers. Luisa is super strong. Isabella makes flowers bloom with a wave of her hand. And even the youngest, Antonio, can talk to animals. But Mirabel? She's just Mirabel. No magic, no obvious way to contribute to the family's perfect image. Pushed to disappear, like Bruno. But Bruno hasn't completely vanished. He's still in the casita, living in the walls, watching over his family. He secretly fixes the cracks in the house, trying to hold everything together. And speaking of the house, have you noticed how the magical rooms in Encanto are impossibly big? You open a door and suddenly you're in a jungle, or a cave, or a sprawling garden. The physical space doesn't make sense, but that's kind of the point. The house isn't bound by the rules of reality, because it's not just a house. It's a reflection of the family's inner world, their soul, full of wonder, potential, and rats.
The only one worried about the magic is you. And the rats talking in the walls.
The bigger on the inside concept isn't new in storytelling. Think about the TARDIS from Doctor Who, with the interior containing an infinite number of rooms, the tent in Harry Potter at the Quidditch World Cup, or the wardrobe from the Chronicles of Narnia. In these stories, physical spaces are symbols of something deeper, an expansive inner world that can't be seen from the outside. In Encanto, the Casita is just like that. It's more than just a house. It's a living, breathing representation of the entire Madrigal family. And just like the family, it holds much more inside than you'd ever expect by looking at it from the outside, including dark, endless corridors filled with rats and holes. Mirabel's gift isn't something visually spectacular. No, it is much greater than that. Her role is to heal the family, not by fixing the house or giving people their powers back, but by getting them to confront the emotional walls they've built around themselves.
Mirabel found Bruno's vision. She's in and she's gonna destroy the magic and now we're all doomed!
Mirabel confronts Luisa, who feels crushed under the weight of being the strong one. She helps Isabella to do things besides acting perfect for the family, and ultimately she confronts Abuela, who's been so focused on keeping up appearances that she hasn't allowed herself or anyone else to truly grieve or grow. Abuela is the one who received the miracle, and for years she's done everything in her power to protect it, but her way of protecting it is by controlling everything and everyone around her. She believes that the family's magic will disappear if they show any weakness, any imperfection, and she expects everyone else to live up to an impossible standard. And this is what we see with the Casita. The more pressure that Abuela puts on everyone to be perfect, the more the house falls apart. In the end, Abuela realizes that it wasn't a candle that was holding the family together. It was love. Love is the real miracle, and it's something that doesn't require perfection. The moment Abuela and Mirabel share by the river, where Abuela finally gets outside of her walls and finally allows herself to grieve for Pedro,
I've never been able to come back here.
is the real turning point. That's when the family truly begins to heal. So how do you save a miracle? Encanto shows us that it's not by being perfect, not by holding everything together on the outside. Instead, it's by confronting what's on the inside, our grief, our fears, our imperfections, and allowing everything to heal through love. In the end, the Madrigals rebuild their house, but it's not the same as before. They allow the community to help them. Their new home is stronger, more open, and more honest, just like the family. Miracles aren't just some random supernatural phenomenon. They're expressions of love, God's love for us and our love for each other. Because sometimes the most magical thing that you can do is just to accept and love people where they're at, with all their flaws and imperfections. And that is the moral of this story. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to share it with your family and friends. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.